Welcome to 10 Intentional Minutes with Janine. Let's dive into intentional living right now. Well, welcome to another episode of 10 Intentional Minutes with Janine, where every second counts towards your growth, your leadership, and your legacy. I'm thrilled about today's episode because we're diving into a topic that's not just relevant, it's revolutionary, but also very close to my heart. Authenticity in leadership. And I couldn't have a better guest to impact this than someone who I deeply admire. Today's guest is someone who brings wisdom, depth, and decades of experience to the conversation on leadership. He's also a thought leader, a mentor, and a powerhouse in the leadership sphere. Dr. Vivian Rogers is here with me and is affectionately known as the Excellence Ghost. Dr. Vivian is a certified life coach with distinction. He has spent over 3 decades shaping minds, mentoring hearts, and growing leaders across the globe. His impact stretches across individuals like myself, corporates, entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, as well as authors, all of whom have benefited from his own strategic, insightful coaching. He's authored an incredible 14 books, with some of his work developed into undergraduate and postgraduate models used in international accredited colleges. In short, when Dr. Viv speaks, you have to lean in. Dr. Viv, it's an honor to have you on 10 Intentional Minutes with Janine today. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Yanni. What a joy it is and a great privilege to be a part of your podcast this morning. And I pray that a lot of people will be greatly impacted by what we have to share with the gift that we have been given. And so, welcome everybody.
So, Dr. Viv, I want to just get straight into it. And we throw around the word authentic a lot these days. But in your view, what does it truly mean for a leader to be authentic?
One of the things that is very, very deep in my heart is the fact that we have so many counterfeits in leadership. And we have to understand this. You'll never know a counterfeit until you have mastered the art of authenticity. So an authentic leader is one who governs his life by a set of non-negotiable principles. When you have non-negotiable principles, you are developing the authenticity of your leadership. You develop the qualities that you possess on the inside. And basically what it really means is that it refers to an individual who chooses to live their life by a set of high standards, and they will never compromise. They refuse to compromise those standards. And this is what authenticity is about. It's about living your life at a level that others will look up to, others admire, and just being transparent. A very important aspect of authenticity is just being transparent. Be who you are in the view of the public that looks up to you. Live your life the way you ought to live, because the standards that we have to live by. So live with a set of non-negotiable principles. That's my MO.
Well, Dr. Viv, it's so powerful. And first of all, I'm glad this is recorded. And second of all, I can make notes as I go. So if you see me writing, I am also receiving as we are going. And I love what you say is be authentically you and be the person you are meant to be. And a lot of the listeners today that are listening are in the marketplace. So why does authenticity matter so much for them, especially in their workplaces?
You know, it is a reality that in the marketplace that there are so many fictitious people. People are there to want to promote themselves. Very few people are really interested in helping others grow and be promoted. And the thing is that you will never know a fake person until you first begin to master authenticity. And it has to start within yourself, within that individual person. So the reason why it is so vital in the workplace it is of vital importance in the workplace is because fictitious leaders always create a toxic environment. And what happens is when you create a toxic environment because you're counterfeit, you then begin to lead people into poor productivity. And when people are in an environment that is toxic because of counterfeits, because of fictitious people, fictitious relationships, one of the things in the marketplace is the moment somebody has a position of authority, the subordinates, what they would do is they would begin to use a lot of flattery to gain favor with those in authority because they think that their flattery will get them promoted. But the thing is that when you have a strong leader, an authentic leaders will tell from a distance those that are counterfeit because they've mastered the art of authenticity. So the important factor in the marketplace is develop within yourself an authentic behavior patterns so that you can grow in leaps and bounds in your own arena, not looking at how I can get promoted, how I can get to the top, but looking at how can I help others become the best that they could become. That's an authentic leader. You're more focused on what you can do for others instead of what you can do for yourself. And what you desire for yourself will ultimately become the reality you live if you put others first. That's the
So
key.
powerful. That's so powerful. And I believe with the listeners as well, if this resonates with you, leave us a comment in the chat. You know what? I think authenticity isn't about just being perfect, Dr. Viv. It's about being consistent with your core, being consistent with your core. And like you also say, is that authenticity will eventually translate into productivity, which will translate into the output, which obviously is what we are looking for in the workplace. Now, for me, if I look at authenticity, I put it into two sections. First one is integrity, and the second one is character. So if we break authenticity down and we look at integrity first, what is the role of integrity in authentic leadership? And how does it shape the trust in and within teams in the workplace?
Very often, we find in a lot of companies that I have been able to give input into is that good people leave because of a lack of authenticity among management staff. And so the role of integrity is extremely important because that's where it all begins when you are looking to improve the productivity of a company. Authentic leaders will never compromise their integrity for the sake of self-promotion. That's a powerful principle. Authentic leaders will never compromise their integrity for the sake of self-promotion. So they will always give honor where honor is due. We find that very rare in the marketplace because everybody wants to take credit for things they have never labored for. Everybody wants to take credit because they want promotion and they take credit for things that they haven't even thought through, but they steal ideas. They steal the things that people bring to the table. And we find that in management, a lack of authenticity in management will demotivate the staff. And you'll find the key players that are serving you in the level that you're at will then become demotivated because you're not giving them honor. So always give honor where honor is due, because if you refuse to compromise the integrity of your heart, you become a strong leader that the others look up to and want to serve every task, every assignment, every vision that you put on the table, because they know that when they bring something to the table, they are going to be given credit for what they bring to the table. So if you want to encourage your staff, become an authentic leader in management positions and celebrate those who deserve to be celebrated. Sing the praises of those who are adding value to the team. And don't just look at the high end input. Look also at the low end input, because the low end input becomes the stepping stone for higher levels of achievement. When you become a person or a manager or a supervisor of integrity, they know that when they bring something to you, you will never compromise your integrity because you're there to promote them so that they could be recognized for what they bring to the table. It's about adding value, Dr. Yanin. I think it's an important factor. Integrity adds value to the whole
Abs-
system of management.
That's so
And
true,
so
Dr. Viv.
And so what happens is that teams will put their trust in leaders who keep their word. Teams will always put their trust in leaders who keep their word. The word of an authentic leader is as real as a signed legal document that holds them accountable to their team without compromise. It's a powerful thought, you know.
It's
So the word of
powerful.
an authentic leader is as real as a signed legal document because they know that you are a man or a woman of your word. They can bank on your word. They can bank on the fact that you made a promise to them and you will follow through with that promise. And this is what builds greater productivity. If I know I can trust my manager, I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to do what it takes to help complete the assignment for that season.
I almost want to say, where is that line that I can sign, Dr. Viv? Because that is the kind of people who I want to be surrounded with. And if we look then at character, for me, character is our inner moral compass. And how can leaders then cultivate character even when no one is watching?
This is such a wonderful thought, you know, and here it is. Uncompromising integrity is the most important foundation that shapes good character. Let me say that again. Uncompromising integrity is the most important foundation that shapes good character because characters could never be placed. If you think about a piece of jewel, and you can never place characters on on a piece of jewel that is distorted in its integrity. You have to have solid integrity. So when you become a person of uncompromising integrity, it becomes easier for character to be engraved upon the surface of your whole personality because an excellent attitude is a reflection of strong character. So you have integrity, then you got to look at your attitudes. And so when you cultivate strong character, when you cultivate good character, and I'd like to use the word excellent because the stepping stones to developing an excellent character has to firstly do with the foundations of integrity. And then while you're building integrity, begin to gauge the strength of your character by your attitudes. And the fact of the matter is this, and this will help a lot of managers because here's how you know somebody has character flaws. A bad attitude are the alarm bells for deep-seated character flaws. Bad attitudes are the alarm bells of deep-seated character flaws. So anyone in your staff who all constantly respond with bad attitude, it is an indication that there are deep-seated character flaws that you need to deal with as soon as possible. Pull them aside, have a heart to heart chat with them. Tell them, I'm here to help you develop strong character for longevity in the marketplace. Because if you continuously have bad attitudes because you always want to speak your mind, you always want to show that you're stronger than everybody else because of your mouth, what you're going to do is you're going to short live your name. You're going to short circuit your everything you've built up for your life in the marketplace. And then people will begin to walk away from you. People will not want to employ you. People will not want to be around you. And the biggest thing is that people will never respect a person who has bad attitudes. They'll never respect them. And so we have to understand that cultivating character is so important that when you're cultivating your character, you work on what is important internally. The internal building blocks of a man or woman's life is so important when you're looking at the corporate ladder to promotion. If you don't build strong integrity in the foundations, if you don't build good attitudes in the foundation, you will keep climbing. And the higher you go, the easier it is to fall because you've never dealt with the internal flaws that came up in the early years of your life. Do it now. Start now, and you'll begin to cultivate an excellent character for longevity in the marketplace.
This is key points, Dr. Viv, and we often mistake reputation with character. So reputation is what people see, and your character is who you are when they are not looking and when nobody is watching. So there is a difference. And those are some key principles for us to take with us. When leaders then show up authentically, what impact does it have on the culture that they create?
Um, the easiest way to destroy a team is to break the trust of one.
Mm.
You have a team. The easiest way to destroy a team, break the trust of one. In other words, all you need, you could have 10 people in your team. And if you break the trust of one, that one person's demotivation will begin to contaminate the rest because when they are demotivated, they are hurting. If they are hurting, they're going to look for an exit strategy. In other words, they will look not even a strategy, they will look for a place where they can vent. And that becomes a problem because unknowingly there's a strategy of your demise that is set in place because you broke the trust of one. And that person will want to vent with somebody. And the first person to notice that there's something wrong and asks them what's going on, they're going to vent their mistrust in what you have presented to them because you broke your word. So the easiest way to destroy a team is break the trust of one. And then authentic leaders build trust first. They always build trust first. Then they cast their expectations second. You build trust first, then cast your expectations second. We find this mix up a lot of times. And I find that whenever there is a challenge with team players, you will find that somebody in management began to throw around their high expectations without building trust. Now, once somebody trusts you, they will follow you. If I can trust you, I will follow you anywhere you want to go because I know that I can place my gifts in your hands. I know I can lay down my wisdom at your feet and you will not trample on them. You will not mock them. You will not discard them. But together we build. So trust works both ways. We understand that. But there has to come from the office of authority, there has to come that element of trust building for the people that serve you and sit at your feet. The moment you begin to build that trust, they will follow you into the high levels of expectation because they know that you will not take them high enough to drop them.
Mm.
They
So
understand that you are not going to pull me up that ladder just so that you can take me high enough to throw me down because of the trust factor. So, this whole team culture aspect has to begin with building the trust and then understanding that if we could build the trust among our teams, they will follow us into the high levels of expectations that we have and not the other way around. Don't throw expectations without building trust.
And I've seen that in your life, Dr. Viv, is with the people that you mentor, is you build trust within them, and then you take them to the next level of their performance. And it also shows me that authenticity breeds safety within people, and then that safety actually breeds the performance. And when I'm saying that, I want to speak about results, because what is the link between authenticity and actual output, the performance, the creativity, the innovation? One thing that you and I have spoken about in the past, and that's truly helped me in my business as well, is when you said that your your level of, it's not your productivity that determines results. It's the level of output that determines these results. So what is the link between authenticity and actual output?
So when you look at the word output, you got to first realize in order to give something out, something needs to be put on the inside. So input is just as important. So when you're inputting into people's lives, you got to understand this, that authenticity accelerates performance because of the trust factor that becomes evident between management and team players. So authenticity will accelerate performance. Now you got to understand this, that accelerated performance equals increased productivity. Just think about it for a moment. Accelerated performance equals increased productivity. We push for productivity, but we are not looking at how can we accelerate the performance on each individual within the team. And here's what's important, because we are so busy focusing on getting a team together, but we forget that you can build the team however you want to build or however you think you need to build it. But have you ever stopped for a moment and thought, how about building the individuals to function effectively within that team? And how many people do you know actually coach people in that arena where you are building each individual to become effective or effectively involved in that team? So what happens is we are in management positions. What we do is we are now inputting into an individual so that the output becomes magnetic. The moment you input strong character, you input strong trust, you input strong performance based mindsets into them, they will begin to understand, you know what, I need to up my game, because this is not a playing ground. This is a functioning team that needs to become the best that they need to become. And one of the times there was a very, very big corporate that had given assignments or projects to different team players. And they said, okay, you're the manager. I want you to take this group of people. You're focused on that and put together something that could increase the income of this company. It's a massive company. I don't want to mention the name, but it's a massive company. Now, it just so happens that one of the managers there knew me personally, and they approached me and said, I want to bring my entire team from the corporate world to be coached by you, and so that we can, present something effective. So got them together, over a few sessions, spoke to this big team, and got their ideas. And then as I begin to give input into every individual, they became a stronger team to function with. Now, when they started off with, each one could identify the weak links among the team players. And so when they identify the weak links, I began to transform their minds to think of it differently and said, how can we together as a team help that weak link become the best that can become? At the end of that project, 6 months later, they did a presentation. That weak link became one of the strong voices in the team. And what had happened was they began to see that their performance level increased productivity because of the authenticity among each one. At the end of the day, out of I think they must have had about 5 or 6 different teams producing or presenting ideas. This team that came for personal coaching over a 6 month period, at the end of that year, they won number one in their ideas that they presented. That idea became an income generator for this massive corporation that was on the verge of closing down. And it's in the cell industry. It's in the cell industry, the mobile industry. And today, that implementation has become one of the key income generators for that corporate world. So there's always something that you can get out. There's always some input that you can give to people in order to get high level output. And always look at every single moment with an individual is valuable. It will produce volumes in the future. Take the time. Don't ever say, I don't have time for this. Take the time, because the person is important. It's built around relationships that are authentic.
Very true, Dr. Vivian. And another thing that you taught me that I carry with me daily is that you never leave a room without making an impact. And with that impact and that input that you're putting into people, you are enabling them and empowering them to have a greater output. So for leaders listening right now, what's one authentic shift that they can make this week that could directly improve their performance?
Start by showing a genuine interest in your team players' personal progress. Show a genuine interest in your team players' progress. Let them know, I am here to promote you. I'm here to see that you reach your dreams and your goals in the shortest space of time. Because ultimately, if a manager can think like a coach, he will hit a home run. She will hit a home run when it comes to dealing with team players. Think like a coach. Develop yourself. In other words, if you want to think like a coach, find a coach. Get somebody to coach you.
I was just
Because
going to say that, Dr. Viv. It's like if you're a leader, if you're a manager, you need a coach to coach you in order to coach your people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's about sowing and reaping.
Yes.
What you sow into the light, what you make happen for others. Dr.
Yes.
Mike Murdoch said it this way: what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you.
So
So when
true.
you think about what you sow into the lives of others, it's the principle of sowing and reaping, and the whole world knows the principle of sowing and reaping because when you make things happen for others, when you take a bit more interest in the promotion of others, you will have a high level team that are constantly producing. Because look at it this way, Dr. Yanni, 5 minutes of daily motivation will produce 5 days of better performance.
That's
Five,
crazy.
just 5 minutes of daily
5 minutes.
motivation will produce 5 days of better performance.
Mm.
You know, we can never, ever water down the value of time. Every minute counts, every second counts. And I always like to think of it this way, and I do it a lot when I have, when I'm speaking to groups of people. I would say to them, tell the person next to you, look at the person next to you, and say to them, say, neighbor, from the very first moment you woke up today to this very moment, you are no longer as young as you used to be. Because, now you begin to realize the value of time. We're growing old every second. We're maturing. Now, the thing is that now, as you're growing old and you're maturing physically, are you maturing mentally? Are you maturing internally? Are you building yourself up to be an authentic person of value to any given situation, any given relationship? Authenticity has no boundaries. So when you motivate people daily, you will begin to see productivity increase in the next 5 days. Take 5 days at a time. Take 5 minutes, 5 days at a time, and you'll see how the productivity begins to go to higher levels of value because they will perform at higher levels. They will perform at their best because you are taking the time to motivate them on a daily basis. Never, ever water down the value of daily motivation.
It's so true because you can also don't you can't take someone to a place that you've never been at before. So as the leader
Exactly.
and as the manager, you have to train and equip and motivate and get mentors and get the right people around you to give you your 5 minutes, hopefully more, so that you
Yeah.
can then put that back into your team. At the end of the day, fake leadership may produce compliance, but authentic leadership is going to produce that commitment and that results that you are looking for at the end of the day.
Then, um, you know, if you have to take 5 minutes of your time, Dr. Yan, and put a value on that, some people will say that you overestimate yourself. But I would rather have an overestimation of the value that I bring into the room than devalue what I carry to the point that nobody will respect you. Because the moment they respect you for what they bring into the room, because you have the ability to change the mindsets of people's perception when you walk into the room, because everybody will have a perception of you when you walk into the room. The moment you open your mouth to speak, you have the ability to change and shift the perceptions of those who had already devalued what you carry because they have not seen or heard the value that you bring into the room. So the moment you open your mouth, you have the ability to show yourself to be an authentic person. See, authentic people never flaunt what they don't have. They never flaunt what they don't have. They will always speak from the heart, and when they speak from the heart, they are determined to make a difference in the lives of those that are seated before them. They know that when they walk the room, like you said earlier, see, the principle is never exit the room without making a positive impact. Never exit the room without making a positive impact. So I walk into the room with a determination, knowing full well that I am determined today that I'm going to make an impact in the lives of not just one, but multitudes of people. There might be one that may not like me, but that's all I'm settling for. I'm settling just for one person don't like me. It's fine. It'll be impossible for you to contaminate the hundreds and thousands that are listening to the determined voice that wants to make a difference in your life. So when you walk into the room with that level of authenticity, you know that you're going to change lives and you will never exit the room without making a clear or a positive impact.
It's so true. I take advantage even after our conversations. I take advantage not just of walking into a room, every conversation, every meeting, every interaction with a person. I don't want to leave that interaction, that conversation, without leaving them, putting into them something that they can then use for output. And I've seen the change. I've seen the impact in the lives of people, and like you also say, it comes down to identity, is who you are authentically. I spoke last night in one of the lectures that I gave at DCI, and what I was saying about identity is that identity is rediscovered because it's something that God already put on the inside of you before the foundations of the earth. You just need to go and rediscover it. It's already there. The impact that you are meant to make, that you are destined to make, the change that you are destined to make in the lives of others is locked up on the inside of you. And you need people around you, mentors, that helps you to pull that out from the inside of you, to recognize and rediscover what God has already put inside of you to make that impact, to make that change.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Dr.
brilliant because identity is an important factor in the whole makeup of your life and your personality. If you have a personality, or where you are trying to duplicate somebody else and build a personality that's not you, you will fall, you will fail
Yes,
at it hopelessly, and all you
yes,
become is just an actor, a performer. You're
yes.
just performing according to what you think is acceptable in the marketplace or in relationships. And you will begin to find very, very soon that people will find you out. People have the ability to understand what is required. If you're a high level thinker, you know what is required to get started and get the engine going in the direction of what is required within the corporate world or within the company that you are managing or you are in a management position of. So you already know you have a certain level of expertise in the management level. You will know how to discover or see through people and discover the counterfeit and the fictitious people. So this is what we need to understand when people are climbing the corporate ladder, that there are skilled people in management and there are also unskilled people in management. Okay. So when you are progressing towards achieving a certain goal or completing a certain assignment or completing a certain project, always remember that one day you could be the very one seated in that position and you have a choice. Am I going to go through the process of promotion by just doing whatever it takes, by stepping on others to get there, and then find out that I'm really not skilled for this position? Or are you going to build yourself to grow to the point where you think to yourself, when I get promoted, I will do it this way. I will remain authentic. I will grow myself to become a person of excellence because my mark of distinction must be the very reason why I am promoted. Not me stepping on others, not me taking credit in areas where I have never even given any input whatsoever. I got to understand this, that I have to put in my time to develop myself, and that's called personal capital investment. I'm
Mm,
putting into my capital, myself capital with, I'm increasing my capital value. So if
mm,
I'm increasing my capital value, I become indispensable to the people that I serve because they know that without me, this company won't run at the level of productivity that they require. So they know that with me in that position of authority, I'm going to be a high performer, a high level producer. I'm going to be one that gets results and go beyond the mark because I have this whole character build up of excellence, of pushing for more, reaching for higher, being, above, being first class, bringing a sense and a touch of nobility to everything that I do. And because they know that and they see that, then I know that when I get there, I'm not going to be the manager that is unskilled. I'm going to be the manager that is praised for his skill and strategies because I've taken the time to invest in myself. So personal investment in the progression has to be of utmost importance because personal progression, when you invest in yourself, begins to build an authentic character on the inside of you that will be applauded by those who have the ability to promote you.
And that is the difference between a counterfeit manager and an authentic manager. Absolutely.
100%.
So, Dr. Viv, thank you for pouring out your wisdom. I always take so much when you speak and apply it. If you're listening today, it's pointless if you're just listening. You have to apply what you have been taught today. This is exactly the kind of truth that my listeners needs. It's real, it's raw, and at the end of the day, it is result driven. As we wrap up, one final encouragement. What final encouragement would you give to any leader or manager that is wondering, is the real me enough? Am I enough to lead powerfully?
Dr. Yanni, that question alone is a clear indication that it's time to invest. Listen to me carefully now. That question is a clear indication that it's time to invest in a high quality life coach to help you unlock the hidden treasures that are hidden within you. Because every one of us have hidden treasures. Every one of us have gifts. But it takes a high quality, a high level thinker of a coach to unlock those treasures and bring out those golden nuggets on the inside of you. So my advice to anybody who has asked that question, it's time to invest. It's not an expense. Invest on a high quality life coach.
That's true. Thank you for sharing this profound principles and insights, Dr. Viv, on authentic leadership and leaders. If this conversation resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with your network. Let's expand the community of intentionalists and reach our goal of impacting over 100,000 lives. And like Dr. Viv says, maybe you're at that place where you need to take that next step. Then there's a few options for you that you can follow, as you can subscribe to my Substack, join our intentionalist community. It's on yanindukabu.substack.com, and you'll receive inclusive insights, my tools, my resources to help you lead with clarity, conviction, and also authenticity. Also coming up is my Marketing Cosmetics, which is my flagship 5-month marketing program. It's designed to help you to build and launch a complete marketing system. The July intake is approaching very, very fast, and spots are limited. So you can secure your spot and learn more. And I'll put the link into the show notes for you to see to look at. And then don't forget to join my Grit coaching program. If you're seeking personal growth and resilience, the Grit program is here to support you. You will discover how to grow with intention and also to transform your life. Grit, if you don't know, it stands for growth, resilience, intentionality, and transformation. And I hope that you can truly join an authentic group of people who has already gone through this transformational process. I just want to say once more, Dr. Viv, thank you for your time. Thank you for your input and your principles that you show so just readily just share with us to impact and empower our lives. This has been 10 absolutely intentional minutes with Janine and Dr. Viv today, where we don't just even talk leadership, we live it. So until next time, keep leading with purpose and authenticity. Thank you, Dr. Viv. Thank you for spending these intentional moments with us today. Join our intentionalist community for purposeful business, spiritual, and life experience. As an international author, business strategist, and life coach, I've discovered the power of living with intention. Through my series of books on intentionality, I've shared insights on how to blend passion, power, and purpose to craft a life that not only enriches you, but also elevates those around you. Remember, being intentional is your God-given right to live a successful, rewarding, and prosperous life.